Warning: the Chaotic Culture Podcast is a program for mature audiences. The language and content presented in this podcast is of a mature nature that some audiences may not find suitable. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Embrace the culture, blaze the doja, grab your loved ones and bring them closer. Extra, extra, read the poster, the KKP is taking over. Sleeping on me, better smell the Folgers. I've been razor sharp since the Motorola. Off for O, like the cover Oprah. Popping bottles, feet all in the sofa. It's a celebration, though the times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge. But it's a celebration, times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge.
We're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. If you joined us for last week's episode, we greatly appreciate you. We appreciate all the listens that we get. Please continue to listen, like, share, and subscribe this podcast to your family, to friends, and whoever else you want to have subscribed to it, even if it's your coworkers, your great granddaddy, whoever else I can think of. Anyway, let's get right into it. Of course, I'm just going to introduce myself real quickly. For those who don't know, I am the host. This is your boy, Ked the Pro, a.k.a. the Calculator Millennial, a.k.a. the Cutlass Diamond, a.k.a. don't be pushing all my buttons in my Cutlass unless you cutting. 843 is me, but doing it live from the 7-5. We already know what time it is. You already know what I'm about. Let's go ahead and introduce, of course, the squad, and we will also introduce our guest as well. So first and foremost, go ahead, Law, introduce yourself, sir.
Yo, what's going on? It's Law, aka Mr. Run It Up. Back again with another week. Blessings from up high, and let's get it.
Yes, sir. And to the first lady of the pod, Miss Nasa.
How y'all doing? Y'all already know it's your girl Nasa, aka Tony Noir, the female Picasso. Welcome to the station and good vibes only. Y'all already know what is good. How y'all been?
I've been good. I've been really good. Despite everything that's been going on and whatnot for this last week and whatnot, it's just been, I can't complain, man. Just been making money and just working hard and continuing to thrive and live.
Trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents,
Hey, you already know the vibe. Speaking of the vibe, we got a guest in here, ladies and gentlemen, big time supporter of this podcast, and for me, a long time friend and mentor. First and foremost, I met this dude in 2009. I was a freshman at Hampton University at the time, and we met in a theater history class, which honestly I didn't realize was not for freshmen until I was in there. I'm like, oh, okay, well. So, with that, I learned how much of an incredible actor this guy is, but he's also into music as well. He's been putting it on for the community he's been doing this for a long time. Shoot, even when I had graduated and I didn't had no job, like, this man looked out for me, when I was at my lowest, still trying to look for work and whatnot, and he at least kept me going until I found something steady. So I got to give props to this man. For those who don't know, but those who are well aware of, the history of me in the theater at Hampton, you will know that this guy has, encouraged me to continue doing what we are doing. And it's part of the reason why I'm actually doing a podcast, because he knew that my voice was something that I could use. So with that being said, I'm going to let him tell him, a little bit about himself. We would like to introduce to the podcast for the very first time, Mr. Zachary Hines II.
Oh man, hey man, It's a very honor and pleasure to be present here with you all. Peace to y'all call it the chaotic culture, right?
Yes.
I like that. That's cool. That's cool. Peace to the chaotic culture. NASA, Law, Kedge, it's just an honor to be here. I'm so happy to be here with you all. I know we can sit up here and we can run accolades and talk about all the things that I've done in the past, but I honestly am just happy, like I said, to be present with you all and to kind of get you into what's been happening in this world right now. We've kind of had time to chill,
Yeah.
And we had time to look at what we've been going through and who we are. Mm-hmm. And for so long, up until this point, we have been searching and seeking. But now, more than ever, what we've been looking for has been showing up right in front of us. It's been a question of if we're ready to step into it. And so, in this manner of preparedness, I've still been working on music, I've still been doing a lot of theater and film. I'm still teaching, I'm still working and building artists, all over the world. And it's just, I feel happy to be continuously working in my purpose. I feel like my steps are aligned by God the Most High. And I just want to make a point to stay consistent in that. All the mistakes I've made in my life have granted me the opportunity to see through to true vision. So as history continues to repeat itself, I can make the proper choices when the cycles and tables turn. And so this being a community of my own people, those of which, we studied in union and grown and made music and done shows and joined organizations and worked harmoniously together through the years, we are now reaching the gateways of our further maturity and adulthood. We're able to cultivate our gifts and talents and truly see the hard work of our aspirations in this present time.
Well, you better say that.
Come on.
Hey.
And so to be able to be here, to see a vision of yours come to life and to be able to be present in it, to be present of your vision and with and in your vision, is a lot. It's a profound thing, and it must be marked for such significance that it is in this time.
Hey, I appreciate the manifestation that you just put on this podcast, man. I appreciate the words of affirmation. Like, I you don't know how much I appreciate that. Like, I really do appreciate that. So, yes, sir. While we get settled for this interview, of course, I just, NASA asked how everybody was doing. Everybody seems to be doing good. Got to be sure that everybody's in their right mind and whatnot, and everybody is focused. That being said, I just wanted to real quick get into a couple of new things to see if anybody has any new portions of this segment that they want to drop real quick before we get into like the meat and potatoes of this interview.
Not this week. Nothing new.
Okay.
Everything that we've talked about and Good Job Lawrence is pretty much still on and running.
Okay.
But yeah, continue to do your research on NFTs for those that are artists. Zach, NASA, definitely get into those. Once you find out you already got your brand, but once you actually get it down, try to find somebody that can do it digital.
Tokens, right?
Yeah. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Save our crap. Yeah, there's nothing on NASA's corner. Everything's pretty much up to date. Y'all, I would advise any artists out there, just take the time to definitely look at your favorite artists and your favorite performance by them, and just try to, be present with them. Try to be present with them while you watch. Because, I felt like that's what I did with Jasmine Sullivan, and I've been watching that video, for days now. That one performance for days now. So, just be in the presence with your artists and who you look up to, and just kind of get in that moment of your artistry. That's all I gotta say.
Word. And right before we continue, I just wanted to give a quick moment for us. For those who don't know, of course, this past Friday was the passing of the legendary Earl Simmons, a.k.a. Darkman X, a.k.a. DMX. Had a lot of influence on a lot of us, especially those who grew up in the 90s and even into the early to late 2000s. We can attest to what this man brought to the hip-hop community and just the community in general. So there will be a bonus episode that comes out, and that will be me just saying, hey, this is how I felt about DMX and the influence that he had on me. So be on the lookout for that. That will probably drop sometime, I don't know, maybe next week or something. I got a lot of bonus content that I've been just throwing out there, so I'm definitely going to have some stuff ready for you guys. So be on the lookout for that. But we definitely could not start this podcast without at least acknowledging, a passing of one of the greats. If that it didn't feel right. So rest in peace to DMX. With peace and blessings and all kinds of prayers for his family and his friends. We know the impact that he had on their lives, so we just want to be sure that we keep them in our hearts. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. So Zach, I just wanted to kind of start this off by saying, as you said, we've had time to chill. With the pandemic going on, we've kind of had time to reflect on ourselves and reflect on our craft and, try to manifest in that and bring that about. So I wanted to at least ask you, as far as the vibe and as far as Fortresses, what has allowed you to, or how has the pandemic allowed you to get into those creative juices? I just wanted to hear your thoughts.
So prior to the pandemic, I was a co-producer and house band for Cypher Tuesdays open mic in Virginia. And Corona happened. We tried to do some online type things, stuff like that, but I was suffering a lot of personal losses in my family at that time as well, that blessedly enough, fortunately yet unfortunately, were not COVID related. Which told me there was a matter of predestination in these passings, that no matter where I would have been at that point in my life, I would have had to come home. Right. And then the isolation of the pandemic would just have kept me here. So in that moment, I had much gratitude that I had made the decision to be home to cultivate my work. So that way, now that I'm here, it's like I wasn't having to miss a beat. It was the first time in 10 years I wasn't performing every week. So I had time to recover and heal from all the sacrifices that I had made as a performer throughout the course of that tenure. And then my time to think, and heal and grieve through these changing times. Support came from places known and unknown that encouraged me to once again draw my sword and make my 14th album, Last Leg, that I released last December. It was a culmination of songs I produced and recorded artists from the movement. Some of the songs on that album were visual artists who had never spit before. We had cultivated a way to find a sound for artists that already had a sizable brand with their creative ability.
Okay.
It's important to put a sound and word with the people that you support, love, and care about. So then they have something that you can hear. Because honestly, this mainstream music are just commercials, honestly. And I'd rather promote brands of the people I know. And so that was that. In the wake of that, I saw the climate of my community starting to decline and wane. I take it not personally. It was holiday. And so on holiday, I like to work. So around Christmas, I was on Clubhouse for about a month, the app Clubhouse for about a month or two. And I started cultivating a community of individuals and creatives. You can call it the Vibe. For those who are wondering where the name the Vibe came from, outside of the lyrics of the songs that I've written before the Vibe existed with the word the Vibe. It's a ubiquitous term. It's something we all use. But when I would do shows in this area and I wanted to test out a new venue, I would just create a show called The Vibe and pitch it to the venue to kind of to see the people that really supported the brand to come out and rock with us at this new venue, the relationship. And I would always call it The Vibe. You've played at one of the Vibes before.
Yes.
I did it on Wednesdays in the past. And so in this fifth dimensional cyberspace platform, I was like, nothing's different of this paradigm. This is niggas from the movement chilling in the space for some time. And it's the vibe. The vibe because it's all of us, So as we continue to collaborate and build, we started sharing music with each other. And then after a while of sharing music with each other, we ran out of music to share. And you know me, I'm like, all right, y'all, it's time to make some then. And so we did that. and we found a way to collaborate. I would do my best to compose the foundations of the song and kind of orchestrate and arrange and engineer it to completion as we all contributed and added our own vision and perspectives to the composition. It was a worldwide feat, accomplished in record time, I must say. And it's the first time I've ever seen anything like that happen. Being able to collaborate with individuals from not only all over the world, but people from this area that I hadn't had opportunity to work with yet. And I'm not going to lie, my major goal when I first got on Clubhouse wasn't really to do the all over the world thing. Mm-hmm. It was so that way people that I already knew could remember who the hell.
Hey.
You know.
Come on.
Because we're here for this. And if my goal is unification, you got to start at home. You got to get your tribe right. And so, what better place to do a podcast than amongst my own scholars, that of which we gain our education in these spheres. So, we've released 3 songs as The Vibe. Welcome to The Vibe was our original song. Mm-hmm. Then you had Musical Language. And recently we released the song Deep Thoughts. And we got some good ones in the kitty too. But I took the time out to come off of Clubhouse to, holiday ended and I started getting booked and things. But also, I want to take time to get with my people to show them what we've been doing worldwide so we can participate in this worldwide dialogue. And those of you all worldwide who are participating in this dialogue with me so far, look at how we continue to move this dialogue forward. Though and lo, I am not currently on Clubhouse. You see what I'm saying? And so, which is getting us up to speed, and also to help answer your question from earlier, how we can, because it's easy to just bar at that point. You know what I mean? It's like, because it splits in the business opportunities and the networking and the sharing and the, I've been able to, like the songs that I made with The Vibe, have surpassed all the songs I've ever released for streaming. When they're 15-minute long songs.
You right.
Sound like folks like podcasts, huh?
Hey, man. In regards to that, I just wanted to, get inside your head a bit as far as, those songs, because, there's, you've got artists who will put in like, okay, 2-minute songs or 3 minutes, 4 minute, maybe 7 or 8 minute songs. Like, what made you think, or what gave the idea of, we gonna do this a little different. We gonna do 13, 15, minute songs so that way people can get the full experience. Like, what gave you that idea?
One thing stands out in particular that I had as my torch. And I'm sure there were many factors, but one thing in particular was the fact that I wanted to do something that was unification based, and that's always my thing. Anyone can make a song,
Yeah.
But if I got a room full of people, so check this out, it's math, it's simple mathematics. You got a room full of people, and you got a 3-minute track. Someone's gonna want to get on that track, and they're gonna love it. It's gonna be dope. And sure, it's a group thing. It was in the group, the people that got together to make the track. But now, as a leader, I'm focused on this one individual and their song. I lost every other person in the group during the time that I'm working with this individual. I can't count on everyone to be trained in understanding what it means to be on a team. If I'm here to teach unification, I can expect you to be unified right away. So the goal through the unification process is to teach unification. And you're unified when everyone knows they're there. So I was like, if I got a dope ass beat or a dope ass sound or a dope ass sample, anyone that gets any kind of inspiration from it can add to it. And the onus is upon me to mix it all together into a way that sounds good. Which,
Okay.
me, I'm an orchestrator.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is on that one. You know what I mean? But that's my line of work. I spend time orchestrating. That's what I've done for the past 10 years. So being able, and I think that was the most prolific part to me, was being able to do something that's very, very hip hop, very, very modern, but having to use classical styles of orchestration and arranging and motif and theme, things like that. Treating it like each song was like a musical in 5 acts. And so all the different parts of the song spoke to different parts of the story. And so as we created these songs, we did accompanying comic panels as well to kind of help add visuals to the imagery. because what was happening was something prolific. So why not, like every other great thing that happened in history, have images that go along with it that will paint the hallways of our mind for generations to come?
You know, now that you mentioned that, and thinking about the songs that you have put out there, you know, it made me realize, like, yeah, you know, the fact that you did do this in like a classical fashion. Because if you look at some of the band pieces that we used to play, like in concert band and whatnot, especially those incredibly long pieces, there were certain movements or certain parts. So it was just like, you know, part 1 was this, then part 2 is this, and part 3 is this, and that's how the whole movement fits together. So I am, and I'm just surprised that it really just dawned on me, like, yo, okay, now I see where this was going. You know, I guess that's just on me. You know, with me being in music for so long, I didn't really recognize it until you just said that. So now I understand even more now of, you know, of how you were able to put that together, and now I'm even more appreciative of the songs that you dropped.
Gotta give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
First off, the visual art that was given for the projects, and while I kind of directed the projects or whatever, the graphic designer of the cover art and the comics is Cameron Barco. He's an artist out of 757 as well.
Okay.
Very talented gentleman. He's illustrated a lot of children's books, like a lot of personal projects. He's also a painter as well, a graphic designer, animator. But some of the artists of note, you know, we have, you know, artists like Lovely and E-Double, Shawnee. We got Floby One, Shinobi. We got Ms. Lunar, you know. We got Momo Pixel, you know, artists like, you know, Piranha Head. Let's see. Oh, man, you got the brothers Psych and Stro. You have artists like, let's see, so many people. I can go up further on. You got Coop Chardonnay. He's from 757 as well. He's on music as well. You have Calvin Mirage, who's a producer from this area as well, very prolific producer. Norva Rain. You even have Kat, who's a singer in Fortress, she's on one of the songs as well. Jamarcus Evans on saxophone. You got Courtney Brown on trombone. You got Lena Simone on vocals. You got Count Nay out from Texas. You got Old Life the Prophet out of Texas. You got so many people. I can go for days. You got the band out of Ireland, Loud Motive. They're a group of Congolese gentlemen who make some very beautiful music. They did the live music portion of the Deep Thought song that I heard that you guys hear before the show began.
Okay.
And I can go forever, and there's so many more songs to come, so many things in the kitty, so many great artists on their way. Yeah, like, I'm very excited to continue to build and share these experiences. The group Loud Motive, I met them through this drummer and an A&R out of Ireland, Congolese brother, my man, Paddy Tunga, man. He goes by The Riddler. He's a dynamic drummer. Now, I mention this to you because, Cage, I want him to be sticky. I want this man to come from Ireland and learn how to drum like an American. And I hope he's watching because I'm trying to get Riddler out here. He's been trying to get out here. That man's one of the sickest drummers I done heard, and he got the Congolese flow. But I told him to get on his rudiments, you know, and I told him to get on the sticks, get it popping. So I want him to meet you guys so you can really see, you know. I want to see if I can get some of these international brothers and sisters, you know, scholarships at Hampton University to, you know, be able to get that HBCU experience. It's something that's not available worldwide.
Okay.
You know. So there's just so many things that go into. I love it. It was a great experience, man. Really, 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 really dynamic and individuals, you know. And, you know, charge it to the head, not the heart. If I left anyone out, you know, as I think about it. Who this? Marvell, you know. Yeah, man. I could just go forever. Oh, yeah, let's not forget Shaughnessy Montgomery, you know. It's just so many people. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Steno Latino on the bass as well as Zero Tolerance, also as a bassist.
Okay.
Yeah, man. It's like that. Vibe, man.
Wow. And just the fact that you have so many artists, you know, in your realm and that you connect with, that says a lot, because especially like on these songs, like you hear different artists that contribute to these tracks. So, you know, shout out to every one of those artists that you just named, and everybody who has been contributing to the vibe. You know, that's really important that we, you know, say these names, so that way, you know, that we can. This is what part of this platform is for us, to be sure that we give these artists, you know, something. You know,
flowers.
exactly. You know, gotta be sure that we do that. Before I get into my next question, Law, Nasa, y'all got any questions real quick before I, you know, continue rambling on?
I do. Zach, what's been one of your vices that has arisen from the pandemic, and what's been your means to overcoming it?
One thing that one of my issues was not standing up for what I know I'm trying to accomplish. Sometimes you have to be vocal about your goals and be so determined to see it through that it doesn't matter if they don't like you. It doesn't matter if they don't understand right away. You have to have practice and be prepared that your vision is clear, that you can communicate what you're trying to accomplish to them, so they can actually negotiate and understand the meanings of what you're doing. So many times we travel blindly, but the more we're prepared, the more we're able to execute an understanding to someone. Hey, I have to do this. I don't get it. Well, I can give you a pamphlet and a flyer and an email, let you know what's going to happen, because I'm definitely going to finish. And then it speaks more to your consistency. I just really feel like you have to be have much intent about what you're doing. Intent is everything. Vices, man, I don't know. I have been grieving up until this part when I started working. So I can't say that being sad is a vice when you should be. Because I came out on fire. I came out of that on fire, and I ain't put it down since. I made the 3 songs for the Vibe, and lately I've been writing a new book. It is what it is. And now I'm here with y'all. I got 3 films and a television show I'm working on right now, and a VR game. I'm just like, look, man, do give God the glory. You know, life's too short.
Right.
And while I have breath in this moment, that I can be so focused to be present with you all and be able to live with this of consciousness at this time. Before I do get caught up in something vicey, I might fall in love with something. You never know. You know, God has His way of putting a move on you. You know what I mean? But before that messed me up, I'm real focused. You know, and I think, see, the thing that will hold me back is I didn't take the time to get my people together by the time the world shows up at our door. We need to be tight. It is a much important that I give us this dialogue for the matters of our times, because we are all lost.
Put that well.
Yeah, very, very profound. Nasa?
I want to ask, during the time of quarantine, I know we just spoke on vices, but what type of healing did you come across, or did you have to come across to get to this point? Just for an example, I know that, like, during this entire quarantine, it took me a lot to just try to get to a point where I'm okay with certain things. And I always find myself going into the shop. I call it going into the shop and it basically what it means is just I need to seek self-healing before I can get myself back out into the world. So what kind of healing did you take, and what sparked you to just be in this undeniable focus?
Before the pandemic, I was booked, I was gigging, I was doing all this stuff for other people. Just kind of in this flow that I've kind of been in for quite some time. When it all went down and things slowed down and the world went into lockdown, for the first time I was able to sit still. And in my grief, I was encouraged to be still. And so I allowed myself to just rebuild myself and feel all the feelings that I was refusing to feel because I made sacrifices to work for my passion. I felt like it was a vacation, and I might not have taken a step out of my door. The healing came from not trying to try. I knew the time would come when I'd have to get back on the floor and do my thing. it won't then. So when, I don't know, because I was able to have silence, I was able to finish books I wanted to read, things that I always wanted to do, getting my finances straight in different manners, just getting more in contact with my family, talking to my sister more, talking to my mother more, being more direct with my father about the type of relationship that I want to have with him in my life in adulthood. Because as a guy, your dad, you grow older, you gotta kind of like, I'm a man now type thing. No matter what position he plays, whether he lives with you or not, whether he's tight with your mom or not, it's like, yo, dude, it's me now. I look like you. Type thing. And to be able to put honor and respect on that, doing my best to eliminate generational curses one bit at a time, strengthening my communication with my families to show that even though I may be an inventor, I'm not lost for understanding that I exist as a part of this family, especially as they are coming into older age and becoming from elders to ancestors each day. I want to be able to be a good and positive representation of not only myself and family, but my people and the nationalism of ourselves as diasporans in this world during this time. I got to be reminded of who I was before I went low to do what I had to do. It felt like I went on deployment, and then I'm finally back from to shore, and I can look at everything I accomplished and truly make an honest decision about what I'm willing to tolerate now that I know, And so it's like the healing came from just kind of shutting up and sitting back and allowing myself to take the space from the things that, well, an elder put it to me really clearly. They were like, she said that it seemed like I stopped allowing myself to be surrounded by individuals who simply needed to lean upon me, and only around those of whom have some stability in their own lives or consciousness enough to be present with me and not in spite of me. And so, me being a person that's all about bringing people together, it was about high time to tighten up my circle. And so,
Had to tighten up your circle. Good Lord. Because I had,
Yeah. So I think all of us had to actually go and do that.
Tighten up our circles.
Self-care major, man.
Yes. Yeah, man. I think this pandemic, at least for all of us, we've had time to think about, okay, what's truly important to us and what's going to help us through this healing process, because all of us had to deal with some kind of healing one way or the other. I think the good thing, if you want to look at it like that, the good thing about this pandemic is that it just allowed all of us to look into ourselves and be like, okay, stop what you're doing real quick. Think about what's going on. How can you be better tomorrow than you were the previous day? How can you make yourself, better than you were? How can you go forward from here? What is going to help you get to that next level on a spiritual and a mental level?
I think that's very prominent because we're so used to the hustle and bustle of everything and just going and going and going that when the pandemic actually, it was definitely a force that needed to happen.
Yeah.
It was a force that needed to happen because everybody's in their own world, everybody is doing their own thing, but never really was at a point of reality in self and healing.
Yeah.
We're so used to just going that we don't take the time to actually say, hey.
Stop and listen.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, let me chill out. Let me get me together first before I continue forward. Because if I don't, I'm going to fall out.
That's real. For my next question, I just wanted to ask, I know that things are starting to now kind of get back to the way things were. So I did want to ask, as far as Fortresses is concerned, or as far as what you got going on, what are some things, that are keeping you involved in the community?
Well, we recently did a show at the Mambo Room in Norfolk. It was a good success. We had live food, live music, live dancing. It was a really good experience. And I know that we have a couple of things pending on dates and stuff like that, but we will definitely be performing at the Norfolk and Hermitage Botanical Gardens and Museum.
Okay.
On the 8th of July. That's going to be a very, very wonderful event. We'll be performing outdoors for the Sunset event, and I'm really excited for that. And got a couple of other things. I am Fortress's roots, for those of you all here know, started underground. So I kind of been back underground, you know, rebooting the universe as one would, you know.
Yeah.
And so everything ain't for everybody right now. You know, there's a lot of great new music and stuff like that. And there's a lot of great new talent that we've been building with. But I've been out here too long just giving away my gifts for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the value of my worth and work. You're going to have to do a business with a black man for a change. You know? It doesn't matter what my personal situation has to be. You need to understand the value of the product. So I don't particularly want to do anything just because you think I should.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta wanna.
Don't actually do it.
I want to actually do it.
Come on.
No, I feel that. I feel that on a heavy note.
But simply because of the fact, as a leader, I'm the one that has to go to my players and say, hey, y'all, we got to do this. Because they're going to be like, all right, word, bet, that's dope. I'm with you, I'll follow you. I don't want to lead my people into destruction. I don't want to lead my people into wasting their time. I don't want to lead my people into non-transcendental experiences. If I'm going to do something, it needs to be dope and amazing.
Right.
So maybe it's time for people to meet Zachary. Because a lot of folks out here in the movement never knew me as me. They ain't even ever seen my movies. They just know me as a dude to play piano. And that's cool, too. However, you know, there's so much more. And I'm tired. Yeah, we got some great gigs coming up. And I will promote them. But my audience knows who they are. And they stay in touch enough to make sure they're present. And they pay. So I don't really need no extra people to see my stuff. Because everybody already knows I'm doing it. It's just about time you tap in. Because you want it to. Like, we know what we do. We grown now.
Yeah.
My stuff stream it, you know? I don't know, like, oh, I'm tired, man. I haven't had a chance to sit down in so long. I'll engineer. You want to use an engineer? I'll engineer something for you, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'll beat whatever price of whoever you use. And why? Because, I mean, you know, I'll be engineering. That opened up. The one thing that emerged out of me doing this is I'm engineering a lot more. And of course, I engineer my projects and the stuff that I do for shows and like that in my career, but I can't band lead in my living room with no band during pandemic.
Right.
But I'm still orchestrating. Well, that's engineering. And so I'm like, but through my engineering and the projects I'm doing with people around the world, people are like, yo, man, I need an engineer now. Like, we know you can do it because you just heard your song. I'm like, oh yeah, bet, no problem. Okay, I got time. I'm not having practices 3 times a week, so I got time to pour over this and give 30 minutes to 4 hours, depending on the situation. I got time to mix the vocals. I got time to ask for help, bring in my other engineer friends, so we split the dollars. I got time to make things happen that I didn't have before. I think about all the relationships that I made in the industry and just with most creatives, where I would have probably loved to collaborate with them, but I was so focused on making sure that the shows were going, because that's what kept things moving on like a nucleic level. You know, kind of got to keep the solar plexus turning. You want to kind of keep the kundalini unraveled. But now I think it's unraveled enough long time for those who have experienced can feel like they witnessed a part of history. The next time you see me, it's going to be a little bit different. And so, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I feel all of that you just said, man. Yo, the price went up. That's all we gotta say. The price went up. Hey, so real quickly, man, let's talk about these songs that you got, bro, because you know, for me personally, I've listened to all 3, and if you were to put all 3 together, honestly, it could be its own standalone EP if you decide to do that.
That's 45 minutes. Ain't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you wanted to do that, like, oh, yep, there's the EP. There it is. It's already there for you. You know. So I just wanted to ask, like, what if you had a particular favorite out of those 3, because me personally, like, I like all 3 for different reasons. You know, I could tell you that I like the vibe because of the ambiance that the song provides. The last one that you just dropped,
Deep Thoughts.
yeah, Deep Thoughts. It's a lot of, I don't know. It just seems like it's a lot going on, but I'm sitting here just listening, like everybody. It seems like everybody's just spilling out their heart, and I'm like, okay, you know what? That kind of goes with Deep Thoughts, and then musical language in itself, like for me, I think has some of the best rhyming that I've heard in a while. It's like, oh yo, these brothers spitting on this song. I'm like, yo, they're going nuts right now, yo. So all three that I've liked for different reasons. So that's why I have to ask, like, if there's a particular favorite that you enjoyed orchestrating, or if there's just one that you just like in general above all others, or if there is no favorite.
I'll say that doing the vibe has been an amazing experience because it isn't like I'm making everything. Mm-hmm. So when I'm sitting in the lab and I'm getting the stems and I'm pulling together out the crate, I'm experiencing music from, you know, this is the perspective of this chord progression in the UK. This is the perspective in Florida. Mm-hmm. This is their perspective in South Africa. This is their perspective, you know, in Norway. These are the perspectives, you know, on this sound. And then being able to say, you know, how can we make that flow? How can we tell a story with this, you know? Letting everyone just kind of take the full creative license and just go out of control, you know? You know, I wouldn't be lying to you if some of them joints, we have like singles just hanging off because someone went so hard on a stem that I sent. That I'm like, yo, hold on to that. Call it Pearl City. So it's just like the experience of doing it. Never really got a chance to sit in the wings of the song. Like, put it out. It was like, all right, the next one's almost done already. So it was like, let's get it together. And then the engineering process. And just speaking of the engineering process, I tried to make the song until it breaks.
Okay.
When my laptop blows up or it crashes and can't whatever, then I'm like, well, that's it. And then I'll bounce it down as a wave, and then
Reattack.
yeah. Add those last parts, like, you know. Hey, we got E-double-M, Ms. Lunar in the building. Hey, AJ, the vibe on the live.
Hey,
man.
that's what's up, man. Hey, for those who don't know, yeah, Zach is going live on his Instagram, so yeah, we are definitely we in case you didn't know, but yeah, we got to throw that out there. You know, we got people watching and whatnot. So shout out to everybody in the vibe that's paying attention to this particular platform and this particular pod episode that we got, and hopefully I hope they will go back and listen to it once we drop it. So
best 5-dimensional band you ever seen.
Hey, man.
First 5-dimensional band you ever seen.
I appreciate everything that you've been, you know, spitting so far, and I've just appreciated the music that you've been dropping. Like I said, man, everything is a different feel for me, man. You got any more projects that you're working on as far as with the vibe? Like any more tracks that you plan on dropping? I know you said you had some in the kitty, but like when can we expect the next, you know, single from the vibe, if that makes any sense?
I bet they wanted the same thing. So what I will offer this. The next song's coming out will probably be, and this is something I never do. I never be like, this is coming out next. So the next thing that are probably coming out next, I'll just list off the names. Flirting with Destiny, Rediscovering, Grand, Step Back, and Tacit, Roland, in a song called Sisters. Off the top of the dome, those have meat on those bones. And yeah. There's probably a bunch of other ones. But Flirting with Destiny, which is a Fela Kuti inspired track, is what had a lot of work in it. And I'm very excited to, you know, when I finally can get time to do the vibe like I was doing, because I be I wake up in the morning, do the vibe at 5:30 Eastern time every day. And then holiday ended, and then phone was ringing at 6, 7 a.m. I had to be doing this or doing that, you know. Life started kicking in, and I was like, oh, crap, well, and I was so glad we worked on that music up to that point. But now I'm just trying to recalibrate and get the talent that had come into the vibe in the beginning. We were making the first 3 songs, who wanted to make contributions that may have been in and out of space or time for it, to be prepared for the new songs. I really, you know, it's not impossible because we've been moving so quickly, making it happen. We've released 3 songs so far this year. Mm-hmm. I don't see why I can't take the time out to, you know, pick up loose ends, you know, just to make sure it's complete. Like, you know, so much support, so much positivity from the people all over the world for us to see this through. I just want to make sure that they get an opportunity to participate in it if they really wanted to. Yeah, man, I'm just really hyped. And also, we all been working really hard, like, you know, just looking at it from the front ways. We worked really hard together to make these 3 songs so far, and some of the parts of the newer songs as well. And some of us kind of got lost in the vortex of our work because it was so enjoyable to come together that we had to remember our regular life. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm talking about people's relationships going crazy and their life is shit from this shit. You know, some positive, some not so positive. But the relationship that we built as a group coming together, it can never take away, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, I just want to kind of give space and time for us to kind of get back to work on our lives on Earth so we can have fresh energy when we get back on these tracks, because it's some heat, like, you better believe it, you know. And April ain't over yet. I need to make sure 4th one's out by April. Is it the 15th yet?
No, it's the 11th.
All right.
As of this recording.
We got time, you know what I mean? So y'all already know what time it is when it comes to... Y'all already know what time it is, you know. So folk in the vibe, don't be surprised if you see the room coming, you know. You know how we be.
Okay. Man, I'm looking forward to it. Y'all got any more questions that y'all can think of right now?
No.
As soon as outside opens back up, what is your first goal? And you can do a small goal and then a large goal.
And when you say outside, you mean travel bans around the world?
Around the world, locally.
Okay. Well, when outside opens up, I plan for travel to me, and I plan to travel to travelers. And also, I guess I want to have kids in the next 5 years. Year or 3. I'll be 33 this year, you know.
Yeah.
You want some mini me's?
You know, yeah, I gotta cause some damage somehow, somewhere, you know. I think if I go hard, I kick the world's ass hard enough, you know, one just might pop out without me having to do anything. Can you imagine? Like, yeah, you got a baby, how? I don't know. I just was making music.
It just happened.
Yeah, what would they call it? Like a star child? Yeah, cool.
Okay. Yeah, man. I know that y'all have been kind of working virtual. I know that you said that you had planned to, like, you know, to travel, and travelers are planning to come to travel to you. Will we ever get the opportunity where we see all of the vibe just, you know, together in one place?
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about when we used to all together at the crib.
Yeah.
It'll be like that.
Okay.
So, you know, as you up your consistency and frequency, so shall the world. Can you imagine if one person comes from another country and they say they're doing it and everyone sees it and say, you know what, I want to do that too. You know, niggas gonna nig, if you will. So when do we get to nigging, my niggas?
Put that on the shirt, brother.
Put that on the shirt.
I'm
Shit.
saying. That's
So when we gonna get to nigging?
At 8:28.
We gonna get to nigging, nigga.
I'm ready. I've been ready. I was born ready. I'm ready for the unification to be complete. I'm ready for us to bring truth to power. I'm ready to have the real conversations, to find the real solutions. I'm ready to solve the mysteries as to why relationships just don't work. I'm ready to fix the genetics of our discourse. Speaking of which, you already know what time it is. You already know what time it is. You know, if y'all need, I was writing a book. I did say I was going to share some. You was about to rap on me.
Oh.
I got a moment to share some literature.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. How much time I got?
Man, look, we said that we was going for an hour, man. We've got a good 13, 14 minutes left.
Oh, that's good. We really put the air out that balloon. Let me bless y'all then. This is good to have on. This would be good to have as a book on tape. I guess if I record this properly, we could mix this down and use this as a damn audio book. Huh?
Hey, that works for me.
Oh, bless my life. Check this out, man. For your edification, at this break in time, a message is etched in the moment just for the sake of looking back and reminding us of how far we have come. It does not have to be this way, so it is not. All new discoveries upon a road traveled many times, starting a fire while still under the sun, our natural disaster, your force of nature, my hidden prophecy. To keep up and carry after all this time, meaning slipping through fingers quick like sand as we too sink. There is wind in the valley, a stirring of life, proof of moving mountains, booming thunder in the distance, inner silence and her voice. A leaf upon a stream, already leaning and bending with the flow at the fork in the road. And true love tells on itself. Miles along on our journey we have been traveling without much word besides greetings. There is a knowingness shared between us, a wisdom only gained through experience in a future more uncertain than who we are to each other. We had nothing to lose, save for each other. For every alternate reality, this one happens to be in perfect timing, the rhythm of a bounce. That gravity gets in the way by removing the space between each rendezvous. We've been here before, and this is something new. Then when the light shines, do your best to follow it. Even beyond the gates of perceived madness, the true recipient of this message will be in perfect timing for what it is. The circumstances of these times call for these certain words, along a staff that seeks to greet a newer day, greener grass, change peace and deep sighs. Dare I waste a breath of life while it be so clear? You know not a fool, so I will show you firsthand what must come of this, continuing to pour life into you from our distance, your arrival at the gates with a filled vessel. I am being asked to simply accept what I know to already be. That is this. So I return to you, along with the stars in the sky, resting in a dream upon your endless sea. Holding fast at the doors of death, the steam licks at my ears, and a force reaches out to take my hand and remove it from my life. As I stand down, it is made clear that I am needed. Make these final breaths take the first steps. I can say so much more, knowing my rain waters your garden. I become this, existing on its own. Promises made in the dark correct my point of view. So, going without saying, here's a note on your wall for your consideration. In the silence, your assurance is but a word, maybe a smile or gesture. May it be satisfactory on earth. Tell me more with our heavenly conversation, the dance in the space outside of time. I can be my greatest self right now. Faith of your coming. As wet as the corridors through which my expeditions have left me with the treasure of understanding, you are already on your way. It cannot matter from where I am sitting, for you are already here enough to be seen in a manner of seeing. I could chill there, good job.
Hey.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man.
I'm gonna definitely have to come back.
Yeah.
What y'all think?
That was packed.
Yeah. Definitely some what's the word I'm looking for when it comes to that? That's just some insightful shit. I'm just sitting here thinking, just like, damn, yo, okay.
It's not something that you just like.
Quick glance.
Yeah.
It's not a quick glance. You gotta like. Gotta look over it one more time.
What'd you say?
What'd you say?
And that's why I said it's packed, not for the fact that it was too much, but it was just right.
Like you just gotta. It's something that you definitely gotta like read over again.
And that's why it's like I really wanted to take time to put. I don't know. Like I feel like it's just time for me to put words to what's happening in the moment. You know, like we've kind of all been isolated. You know, in our own ways. and there hasn't been a lot of expression to express and explain and describe our times. You know, our people's attention span is so short. It's like we're being forced to have to give them something banal, something quick, something whatever. When
I call it the microwave movement.
yeah, you know, I want you to be able to sit down and feel time slip away, so you can be present once more. You could feel me speak to you. You could feel you speak to you. You could feel and sense the dialogue of the ideologues moving in discourse. You know, your recourse being your own creation. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, that's some profound shit.
He said like 4 times. He need to put that in quote. Put that on the t-shirt.
Yeah, please.
That is some profound shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's say can't put it into better words than that. I'm trying to think. I think all the questions that I had were answered in a lot of your answers. So it's just like, well, you know, that's what really makes a good session, because it's just like, dang, I was gonna ask that, but you know what, he already answered that. So let me just see if there's anything else that I want to know. Man, anybody else got any thoughts, comments, concerns? Is Cypher Tuesdays coming back?
Cypher Tuesdays still exist. Respectfully, Q5 is actually trying to work on his rebranding and has charted a new approach.
Okay.
Every month he's doing his show at different black-owned businesses.
Okay.
He's recently been featuring the band The Fellas. They're from the 757 area as well. Please continue to give support to Cypher Tuesdays and Q5 and everything he's been doing.
Okay.
But, no, you might not see Fortresses there at this time. For reasons. However, you know, Cypher, yeah.
Okay. Hey, you know, that's what's up, man.
Cypher_Tuesdays on Instagram is a page you can follow as well. Q5 TV.
I've been trying to hit up the Cypher Tuesdays, but I know that they've been doing it virtually, so I'm just like, so they don't drop addresses apparently right now.
Yeah.
Word. Man. It's been a minute since I was in the Cypher, so one day I'll get back to it. But let me just ask, did you have any other ventures, you know, since, you know, I know that you just said Cyber Tuesdays, you're probably not going to be, you know, as active at this present time, but is there any other venture that you're doing right now other than everything else that you just named as far as Fortresses?
Honestly, the only reason you ain't seen a whole lot of Too Many Waves is Zero Tolerance as a bass player out of Richmond. I like his sound. I like his sound enough to wait for his ass to get to this area because he's moving out here in a month.
Okay.
When that nigga get here, you better believe you're going to see so much Fortresses your nose going to melt off your face.
Oh, shit.
So I'm just being patient. And I got a man named Riddler Broke coming from Ireland that's going to be here in September. You know, when this motherfucker get here, just think about it like this. You know how in Power Rangers when they make the Zord and shit?
Yep.
And you know how when the Green Ranger armor comes down? Mm-hmm. Well, you remember when the fucking Brontosaurus tank come out?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Just give me a second to reboot my shit. All right? I'm in the fuck y'all up so good, you don't even know what time it is. Sorry, Mom.
He in the shop.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That is what's up. Right now, I think it's a good time, of course, to, you know, pretty much end the segment here, because there's so much more that we can talk about and impact. But we definitely wanted to try and keep this episode a little brief. That being said, you know, Zach came and he bought that heat for this interview, and, you know, much respect to that, and I appreciate him coming on this platform and sharing his wisdom, his knowledge, and overall his art with us. You know, that's very important. This platform will once again promote black businesses, black art, and black spaces. You know, and it just so happens that he happens to be another Hamptonian too. So I mean, you know, got to do that too. But yeah, that is what this platform is here for, and that's what we are here for, to be sure that our culture can thrive despite the chaotic elements around it. We are here to build and to strengthen our communities, our culture, and ourselves. So, are there any black businesses that anybody wants to shout out at this very present time?
Yeah, I want to shout out Exalt the Light LLC. That's my sister's mental health and counseling firm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
If you are in the metropolitan Georgia area and you seek mental health help or counseling or life help or coaching, you can contact my beautiful sister, Imani Hines, and she lives in Georgia, and you can set up a session with her. She will take care of you. You can follow her on Exalt the Light, LLC. You can also follow her on Beautifully Human 50 on Instagram. You know, I definitely got to shout out my lovely sister, and I just want to give more congratulations to her in the fact that she just recently has gotten a few great interviews on a lot of blogs and magazines lately. She's on Psychology Today as well, if you wish to find her entry. I also got to shout out my little brother, Alex, you know. He has some Californian business, you know. Virginia will be legal on July 1st. I want to shout out Fatal Faction, you know, that's my little brother. If you know what I mean, then you could tap in and search that up. Shout out to Young Zila and all of his musical endeavors, you know, as well. Much love to my family. My fraternity, find me off of Sinfonia. Shout out to Sigma Alpha Iota, shout out to Tau Beta Sigma, shout out to Kappa Kappa Psi, you know, 5-4. You know, shout out to all the HBCUs and marching bands. Shout out to the Divine Nine organizations in the World Panhellenic Council. Shout out to, you know, everybody. Shout out to all my people in the world. Shout out to, you know, everybody, man. It's lit. And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. I'm happy to be here with you guys, and it's only a matter of time before you see the world here too, in the place where the ships have landed. We have found the sacred land at Point Comfort.
Okay. Hey, man, I like what I'm hearing. On my end, as always, we got to shout out. I gotta give a shout out to Miss Kiera Cal. You can follow her at KIERRACAL _. She just relaunched the Educated Baby Mama. You can follow that profile at, I believe it's Educated Baby Mama _ on Instagram as well. Just check her out, especially if you are, you know, you could be a young single mother or you could be a young married mother. Regardless, she has some tidbits of information for you that will help you, you know, along your journey as well. Some mental health stuff that she also talks about as well. It's a lot of things that she is embracing. Also, she is Bougie Bartender, for those who have heard my ad in recent episodes or in past episodes, so definitely continue to check her out. She's got a lot of ventures on, so I definitely got to give a shout out to her. As always, to the Black podcast that I know, shout out to Truth and Transparency podcast. Shout out to the Session 757 with Jay and Trey. Be sure that you check out the Black Anime podcast that I have supported, such as Black Anime with the X's in the middle, of course. Check them out. Be sure that you shouts out to Black Anime podcast with Unbothered Mike and Sine. Shout out to Worst Generation Pod. Right now they are, you know, on hiatus, but still doing some work out here. They got a Run My Fade tournament going on Twitter for best anime duos. So if you're on Twitter, I would definitely check that out with them. There's too many of them to shout out because it's like 10, 11, 12, 20 of them motherfuckers. So they already know I got love for them as always. And once again, thank you to Panda for always, you know, supporting this podcast and always, you know, being supportive of her anime knowledge in general, because she's just so in depth with it. So always got to give her a shout out. She just put me on some new anime right now that I'm about to actually go watch. So that's what's up with that. Y'all got any?
Y'all definitely eat y'all CMOS and go take y'all tails over to the Juice and Life bar up in Newport News. Okay. It is an all black natural smoothie shop. They got a little salad bar too. Or a little cafe too, but I personally like their smoothies because it's fire. And get your smoothie and get your CMOS. Need your CMOS because it's good for you.
Yeah,
so
put on your skin too.
Word. So
get the skin right.
Well, Zach already shouted out, you know, everybody in CIO and everybody in PHC. So, you know, definitely gotta continue to shout out them, especially the Theta Phi chapter of Tau Beta Sigma at Hampton University. Gotta shout the lovely ladies out here because I am an honorary member of that chapter. So we're getting ready to put in some work so that the marching force of Hampton University can go to the Macy's Day Parade. As with everything, the pandemic kind of, you know, cut back on some funds, and of course the Ivory Tower, we will not say names, but the Ivory Tower was trying to cut back on funds for the band. So we just have to find different and creative ways to be sure that they get the exposure that they need. So if nobody else has anything, we just gonna go ahead and end this interview. Just be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast. Be sure that you first and foremost, follow Zach on Instagram. What's your Instagram, bro?
Z Hines II.
Z Hines II. Okay. You can follow him on Instagram. Are you active on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm a little more active than I used to be.
Okay.
Yeah. You can follow on Instagram and stuff, Z Hines II. Fortress is live.
Oh, right.
As well as the vibe. The vibe is special, so it's ___ the vibe.
Okay.
And once you follow it, you see it's fun because then you type in one underscore, you generally get it, and it's like, yeah, man. Only if you knew, you knew. We'll be posting motion comics as well as the pages of the comic book in order with the music that accompanying it. So we've kind of been doing that already. It's been a process, just trying to get the platforms built up and everything. I'm just really excited,
Okay. Hey, that's what's up, man. Yeah, so again, be sure you follow those profiles. Be sure that you follow the Chaotic Culture Podcast on Facebook at Chaotic Culture Podcast. Be sure that you follow us on Instagram at Chaotic Culture Pod and on Twitter at Chaotic_Culture. Be sure that you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at K3D the Pro. You can follow NASA on Instagram and Twitter at _callmenasa, and then you can follow Law on Instagram at L.JR_96 and on Twitter at Law96_. Continue to support this podcast however you means. We may be getting, not may, but we will in the future, we will be getting a Patreon here. We will also be getting some Nelly out there, so that way we'll have some gear, some shirts. We definitely got this stuff in the works, man. We're gonna have a visual soon too. That's in the works as well. Just got a matter of making sure that the focus and the time is there, and I'll make time for this. So, but, for those who are just listening, by ear, I continue to thank you for supporting us. Without y'all, I don't care if I'm getting 5 listens. I don't care if I'm getting 20. I don't care if I'm getting 100. I don't care if I'm getting 1,000, just knowing that someone out there is listening to the words that are being said within this black space. That's important, and that does my heart some good. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. With that, be sure that you go check out Zach's music. Be sure that you check out The Vibe. You can find them on Spotify or Apple or any of the streaming platforms. It's there. Just be sure that you look for The Vibe. Look for the songs Welcome to The Vibe. Be sure that you also listen for the song Deep Thoughts, and of course Musical Language. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, and be sure that you go check those songs out. Definitely something that is worth listening to, especially if you got a little time on your hands. You're gonna zone out. I promise you. It'll be over for you. But that being said, listen. Make sure that you tune in to those lyrics that are being said and everything that is accompanying in those songs. Like, you want to be sure that you find what's gonna help you achieve the vibe. So with that, guys, I appreciate you tuning in to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. Be blessed, be safe, God is love, deuces.
Peace.
One.
Look, it's chaos in these streets, so let's talk about it, please. Let's hold some conversation. You see where I'm coming from. Yes, it's so amazing. Go ahead, get comfortable. You can grab a seat, take a load off your feet. Yeah, welcome to the table. We don't tell no lies over here. This ain't no fable. We just live our lives over here. We ain't no angels. We just shine our light over here. We got the power. We just showing love over here. Cause everybody needs some, yeah. And we don't need a reason. Everybody needs some. And we don't need a reason, cause